Check it out, guys. I'm back with my video response to 260 and another fine episode by you guys there at the Bliss. I was wondering when the episode was going to come out, but Rocktober is here, and what a great episode. Another cool interview, and really enjoyed it. Listened to it twice on the train ride into the city and back. So, yeah, cool stuff. Yes, it takes that long sometimes from where I'm going from. To celebrate 260, I've got Gentleman Jack and Cola. And if you like your whiskey and cola to taste a little bit like cough medicine, try this. I thought it would be better than the regular stuff that I really like, just Jack and Coke, but sorry, Jack and Cola. Don't want to end up with a lawsuit with Jim Beam. However, it's not that great. Maybe it's an acquired taste. So I'll leave it out. I'll drink during my video response here, because the host likes to drink through an episode later. Let's embrace that, people. If you drink, let's embrace that. So let's get on with it. I've got a couple of topics here we'll highlight. It's been about a week since I listened to the episode, but anyway, first thing, Half Pipes playing the saxophone. That's pretty cool. Now, I know that Papa Pipes wants his son to play the guitar. That is very understandable. I would want the same if they had children. However, think of it this way. The seed has been planted. Or planted, whatever way you want to call it. The seed has been planted, so little Half Pipes is taking on a musical endeavour. He wants to play the saxophone. I think the saxophone's a cool instrument. It's just not something that I really want to play, because it's not in the style of music that I like. However, you guys probably know this, I've said it a million times. When I was a kid, my parents made me, now this wasn't my choice, my parents forced me and my sister to play the electric organ. And I hated it. However, if it wasn't for all those years of going to lessons, playing performances, playing for their friends, learning the theory, because there's no tab for the organ, if I didn't have that, then I wouldn't have the foundation for music, which in turn made me want to play the guitar many years later. Because otherwise, I would have thought to myself, no, I wouldn't have the skill. I can't do that. But with having that building block and putting that into my head, I thought, hang on a second, I can play the music that I actually listen to, as opposed to Disney tunes and 80s pop and classical tunes. I can play the music that I like if I just switch instruments. Yet the foundation of that music, reading music, well, not really reading, it's a bit different. Still the same though, treble bass clef. Sorry, only treble and guitar really, but still getting all that beginning in music in my head, that gave me an understanding to say, yeah, you know what, I can do this. I can do this all right. Then I realised you don't really need a lot of that stuff to play guitar. But anyway, Half Pipes could venture out into the guitar, and if not, he's still playing music. So I think that's pretty cool. So you've had a positive influence on him to start a musical endeavour. So anyway, we didn't really have that type of school music thing where I went to school. There weren't a lot of people into music that much. My music class in my senior years, there were 5 people, and then there were 4 people at the end of the year, and we were a band pretty much, and I played bass. Played the electric organ for the exams and everything like that. But at school, I played bass, because that's the band we were in. I didn't know what I was doing, but that's what I played. So yeah, cool stuff for Half Pipes there. On to the next topic, the rubber spray or plaster dip. Now, I remember plaster dip. I remember it quite well. Plaster dip, when I was a kid, I remember my old man always dipping his pliers and things like that into the stuff. I remember the can, because I thought it was pretty cool, the can. But I do remember, this is what I used to do as a kid. I'm going to be rude and just... why do people always send me messages when I'm trying to use my phone? Because we don't use notepads and paper anymore. It's all digital. Back to my list. Here we go. So the plastic. When I was a kid, I remember my old man putting his tools into that. And when I was a kid, I used to go at it with some scissors, and I used to always peel it off so it would annoy him. And then he'd plaster dip it again, and then I'd peel it off again and again and again, just to be annoying. So, you know, that's just what I did, as children, little boys do. But in saying that, I've had a lot of experience with plaster dip, and I'll be the first to say it will not damage your finish, depending on what you're putting it on. Now, it's meant to be put onto metal, hard surfaces, something like that. So I'm putting it on a guitar, depending on what the guitar is finished with, if it's a glossy finish or whatever, will determine on what the actual stuff is bonded to. Now, it doesn't bond to the surface that you're putting it on to all that great. It bonds it to it enough to hold it on there and make it a little bit durable. Plaster dip really bonds to itself. It adheres to itself and makes it one piece. That's what it's like. Because I remember when you're using those pliers, after a while, that it starts to come off, like all plier sort of handles do, and you can sort of slide it off in one piece, elongated piece, where it bonded around each handle. So depending on what you put it on, I really don't think it would cause that much damage, depending on the finish you have on your guitar. In saying that, like Bill said on the forum, I think it would be a little bit annoying because it would be. It is rubbery. It'd be quite sticky on your forearm when you're playing and that sort of thing. So, but it would be a good idea to put it on the back of the guitar to help against belt buckle rash. But in saying that, from memory, it's quite tough, but it's not that tough. Like if you've got a heavy guitar, like if you're playing like a solid mahogany guitar, and you're pushing it against a belt buckle, it's not going to be enough, I think, to last a lifetime. You'd have to keep reapplying it and that sort of stuff. The scratch pad is a much better idea, the scratch pad. But in saying that, it could help protect the finish here, some pride and joy. But there's something that Dave Mack said to me. For a long time, I used to baby my Benford guitar, and Dave said, you know what? Guitars are meant to be played. They're meant to be played, end of story. So, I think it's a great idea to cover your guitar to protect it, but at the end of the day, I don't want to be one of those types of people that are too worried to play my guitar because it's going to get scratched. If it gets scratched, it gets scratched. We don't want it to. We'll do everything to prevent that to happen, but they're meant to be played and enjoyed. It's like keeping a guitar in a case. It's not going to do you any good in the case. Put it on a rack, on the wall, get it out there. But yeah, that was very interesting. I think though it could be a cool idea. You could plaster dip certain parts of the guitar as well. So perhaps go for it. Make that a service for the people. What's next on my little list here? Let's go to the center song, Deadbeat Boulevard. Boulevard. I've listened to that. Listened to their EP. It's pretty cool stuff. Sounds quite professional. You got a lot of great musicians on there, and a real joy to listen to. The songs are quite catchy, and it does remind me sort of 80s, a little bit of 80s hair metal sort of genre, and I really do dig it. So, guys, thank you very much for sharing your music with the Bliss, and it's great to know that it's Bliss members, half of the band are Bliss members putting this together. It's great stuff. It's next on my list here. The interview with Don Alder on classical guitar, or his harp guitar, really. That was really cool that Larry recorded that as well. I really enjoy Larry's interviews. He seems to ask the right questions. He's got a nice confidence to his voice when he's talking. Excuse me, talking to people, and it's a pretty cool, enjoyable listen. Really interesting stories about how he grew up with those shotguns in his metal band. Very interesting story, and I think that that was pretty cool. It was dangerous and broke up the band and hurt people, but hey, how many rock and roll stories do you hear when people do that before they're even rock stars? It was really funny. And then the other two stories that stood out to me was the Gibson that he got off his friend that committed suicide. Geez, that would have been a bit rough, selling that and not just knowing the value, but with everything that happened with his friend's sister that wanted to get the guitar to learn again and that sort of thing. That's quite rough. But at the end of the day, things happen. Things happen. We sell things, and sometimes don't know the value, and that's life. It's life as a musician. So yeah. And the last thing I've got here about Don Alder, I'm trying to make these videos a bit quicker, is the what have I got here? It's not even on my list. Oh yeah, the fingernails, the acrylic nails. Now, I had a guitar teacher once who didn't teach me guitar. He taught me a little bit about how to introduction to digital recording on a computer. That's when I went out and bought the very expensive PCI sound card, and I had the little Behringer mixer and that sort of thing, and started with Cubase, and I got a, for educational purpose only, copy of him to my introduction to Cubase and that sort of thing, which is why I'm more comfortable with that. Although I don't have it on this computer because it's 64-bit and haven't sort of sprung for the cash to buy the latest incarnation of it. But anyway, he used to always play acoustic guitar, and he had fake nails. And I was like, why's this dude got nails on his fingers for? I didn't, like, what's going on? And he told me why. And when I heard that with the interview with Larry and Don, I sort of thought about it, yeah, that could happen with acrylic. So you see women with their nails, and they always complain that they're hurting, that sort of thing. So, yeah, very, very interesting that it actually pulled off the nail bed and took 8 months to recover. Then he played with those little metal, I've seen the little metal like claw things you stick on like metal fingernails. But wow, it's that's quite amazing. I haven't seen that video. I'm going to look it up right after I do this video, see what it's like. But like I said, guys, cool interview. Really enjoyed it. So thank you, Larry, and thank you, Don. Thank you, the hosts. What's next on here? The highball glass. Now, I guess this could be considered to be something you could put into a highball glass. I guess so. Be interesting. And from where I'm from, so I grew up in not the nicest of places, a bit rough. I still live very close to where I grew up, but in a slightly better neighborhood. If you ordered a highball at the pub because you want to water down your drink, you'll get the living crap beaten out of you. That is not cool for a dude. Ladies are different, but dudes do not drink out of highballs unless it's a double. And if it is a double, it should be in a short glass anyway, because you should be a man and should drink that drink properly. Highballs are not cool if you're a dude. End of story. But interesting. You guys should drink out of highballs, I guess, if you really want to, while doing the Bliss episode. Excuse me. Still recovering from this nasty cough for the last month or so. I cannot sing at all. I've tried and it's killing my voice. But yeah, highballs, I remember the reason people drank highballs is because it watered it down more. If you're drinking alcohol, you're drinking alcohol for a purpose. Don't water it down. Embrace the flavor. Now, in saying that, a lot of alcohol tastes like rubbish, like especially spirits, that sort of thing, straight up. It's an acquired taste. A lot of my friends, well, not a lot of them, some of them, they drink like whiskey straight all the time, or on the rocks, scotch, and I can't do that. Like mix it, but when I do mix it, like sometimes when we mix drinks, we'll literally go half spirits in the glass and then half Coke. Always use Coke. Just in a normal like Scotch glass, and that tastes pretty good. That tastes pretty good. Better than this. But yeah, I wouldn't be caught dead drinking out of a highball anyway, unless I could really prove to someone it's a double or triple. So, but that's interesting to see. Like people would wind down with a highball. Not really where I'm from. People don't really socialise like that where I'm from. But anyway, enough of that. Enough of that. To the outro song. That was weird and cool at the same time. Really interesting pick there, guys. But that's it. I'm going to cut this video short now. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to stop looking at these 3 cameras that I'm trying to do this thing with now, and end it for that. For those guys that actually like listening to me, sorry it's a bit short, but I'm in a bit of a rush. Time is of the essence at the moment, so I got to get out of here. But can't wait for the next episode for October. And guys, bliss on.